Do we have the right to play God? Up next on today's program, we discuss the controversial topic of genetic modification. Genetic modification is becoming more and more popular as parents are in search of the perfect baby. With this bizarre treatment costing some parents as much as $10,000, you would think that it is all smooth sailing for these designer babies. But it doesn't mean that there aren't any complications or mistakes. I'm joined here today by Sophie, a registered nurse who can tell us a little bit more about this issue.
Hi, thanks for having me on the show.
So, tell us a little bit more about genetic modification. What do you think? Do you believe that it is right, or do we have the right to alter our potential child's genes?
Well, this major development in altering the human genome has opened so many doors in terms of our ability to promote health and access treatments for those interested, but more importantly those in need. But I'll get to that later. Firstly, I'd like to discuss how I'm involved in this medical revelation. Nurses are at the front line of care for all patients across a variety of health settings, including genetic-based practices. This can range from taking a health history, obtaining consent and ensuring that it is informed, and administering gene-based therapies. By looking at this, my duty as a nurse has a huge emphasis on advocating for these patients, educating them on all relevant information, whilst counselling and supporting the patients and families who are choosing to explore genetic modification. Considering my stance towards gene editing, I have to firstly acknowledge the ethics related to my role as a nurse and put away any personal opinion. To do this, I've considered the deontological approach in my practice and what implications this has on me as a nurse. I must be motivated by my duty of care to any patient that presents to me. If they are seeking to access information or genetic modification treatment itself, I must ensure I fulfil these needs. This means informed consent is a responsibility resting heavily upon me. I must ensure that these patients understand the nature, any risk and benefits related to gene modification, and that they consent to the procedure without any external persuasion. It must be a decision that they make and not anyone else. And as I've mentioned already, ensuring safe practice also involves gathering a detailed family history and any other medical information. But above all of this, people navigating our healthcare system, including those who have been consulted or accessing gene modification treatment, have the right to feel supported and informed at all times.
Great, thank you. So, as you mentioned, there are a lot of ethical implications for gene modification. There is definitely a question of safety and what reason people are accessing this treatment, and who will be able to have the resources to access this treatment.
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of ethical principles to consider in gene modification. In considering the safety of gene modification, this relates to my role of informed consent and giving the patient autonomy when deciding whether this treatment is something they are wanting to pursue. There is a possibility in gene modification of adverse effects, where genes are edited in the wrong place or mosaicism occurs, meaning some cells carry the edit but others do not. This is obviously a consideration all patients are made aware of. Gene modification has the potential for parents with an inherited disease, such as Huntington's disease, to have the opportunity to create a child and not pass on that disease, preventing a life that will have potentially be lived in ill health. From this, gene editing can be a vital tool in fighting against polygenic diseases like cancer, diabetes, heart disease, which are leading causes of morbidity and mortality worldwide. This would therefore reduce disease rates and alleviate non-communicable disease so that individuals can have a better quality of life, increased lifespan, and are able to pursue goals, introducing a sense of justice to the topic. On the other hand, parents who are wanting to access gene modification for what may be referred to as designer reasons rather than a medical indication have the ability to choose specific details of their child, such as their hair colour, eye colour, and so on. We can question this in terms of beneficence and whether this is doing good for the child. We've also touched on the pricey cost of gene modification at this early stage of it being introduced to the public. I myself do question whether it is just that not all individuals may be able to access this treatment for financial reasons, and would this treatment further exacerbate a gap between power, wealth, and education within our society. Hopefully this is a concept that we will not have an issue with as time progresses and there is more research and finance invested in gene editing.
Thank you for your in-depth insight to this topic. Welcome back. Now we are joined by a young mother, Jane, who will tell us about her experience in genetic modification and why she has chosen to pursue this pathway.
So I, as a mother, I have engaged in this gene editing to be able to conceive a disease-free child, and I just don't want my child to suffer. I just want what's best for my future child. And my family has a history of Huntington's disease, and I've been tested to be a positive, like a potential positive. So I would do anything to avoid my child from actually getting the disease too. And naturally, like, I don't want my child to have my disease, and as I've said before, I've been tested positive, so that means that if I do conceive a child, there are high chances of my child having the disease.
So we understand that this treatment can be quite expensive. Can you tell us a little bit more about your financial contributions?
Okay, sure. So it has been an expensive cost to me, but what is this cost in comparison to the potential physical and mental hardship that may have caused my child? I'm so sorry for repeating myself quite a lot. I'm just nervous. It's my first time live on TV, so yes. So so I'm saving what's mental that could be mentally hard on me, my family, my child. I'm trying to avoid future implications on my child, and that includes speech, loss of movements, and of course, that's not what I want. And gene editing to me is a tool that's from my perspective as a parent, has safely and effectively corrected my family's Huntington's gene mutilation. And I also believe that every parent has their own right and choice to choose what is best for their child, just as long as it's within their ethical means.
We'd like to thank you for your insight into this issue, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
And now we're going to take this issue out into the public and get their opinions on genetic modification. Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm out in Monash University, and I'm out here to speak to the public about their opinion on genetic modification. We have someone just over here. We'll go ask them. Hi, we're from the news. We were just wondering what your opinion on genetic modification is.
I think I'm so against it. I don't see why that should be a thing. Completely rids the public of diversity.
Another student over here. We'll go ask them as well. Hi, what is your opinion on genetic modification?
I think that's a great new technology and a complete advancement in medical research. It has the ability to create mass production of drugs like insulin. We can rid inherited diseases within families and completely turn around medical advancement.
Thank you for your opinion. That brings us to the end of this eye-opening segment. We've had some very interesting opinions from the public. Up next on today's program, we talk about the highly disputed topic of nurses' pay rates. Should such a demanding profession be paid more? Keep watching to find out.